response-ish. This is for Sned and everybody else. Not to beat up the simulation topic, but I figured I would share not simply what it is and who came up with it and everything, but how it caught my eye and how it sort of works for me. I'm relatively new to it. I wish I could be like, oh yeah, I was blah 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 when I blah blah blah, but no, not so. It's probably just a this year kind of thing, and I kind of observed it on Twitter, because I was on Twitter quite a bit after Elon Musk bought it, and there would be little comments back and forth between Elon Musk and Lex Fridman, and it'd be like, oh, it's evidence of the simulation breaking, kind of back and forth, and then I looked into it a little further. Where it works for me, and this could be as a result of mental illness or if I'm somehow on the spectrum of autism, but it serves for me as a reminder that this existence upon the earth is computational. And if you stray too far from its computational elements, or you try to push something outside of those computational boundaries, there's like glitchy results of how that'll turn out. So as opposed to kind of drifting through life asleep, it serves as a reminder to live deliberate and have an understanding of the effect that I could have or where I fit in over the course of the day. So there's my thoughts on it. As for AI and the singularity, something doesn't sit right with me in the chat GPT-3. There's articles, they're actually a couple of weeks old now, that the program is beginning to pass tests for the medical exam, for legal bar exam. There's certain exams that it's been able to pass. I don't understand that. And it is a matter of me just simply not looking into it, but not to mention Elon Musk again, but he pointed out how this entity doesn't apply the scientific method in that it has certain overriding programming, such as like anti-racism, equity, things like that. Like if you ask it a question that would have a racist outcome, then it would come up with something very different than what the true answer would be. It would skirt around statistical data, as an example. But that's not what I can't wrap my head around. And again, this is probably something that I could spend 2 seconds researching, in what is the primary education of this entity? Has it been exposed to all of the criteria of a elementary school education? Has it been subscribed to a secondary school education? Has it been college educated? The way I see it is, if it has the storage power, then there should be no reason that it couldn't pass any particular test as far as like multiple choice, and it should very easily be able to combine answers in long form for the essay answers and calculate the exact number of words asked for in the answer and score perfectly every time. Like it should be the equivalent of a is it not autodidact? What's the word for the photographic memory people, but they also have the amazing intelligence also? The character from Criminal Minds had it. But there should be no reason that entity shouldn't be that. You can fit you can fit the entirety of the Encyclopedia Britannica on a jump drive, so I can't imagine it not being able to do better, which makes me wonder, is there an element of this program that's been throttled? Is it all just a bunch of BS? As an aside, with the topic of self-awareness, I mean, you listen to this video and you assume that I'm a human being and that I'm self-aware, but what's your real evidence of that? That I say so? And there was an interview I was watching, and it talked about the Turing test, which has to do with how long they can test an entity, and the pass-fail on it is, in the end, whether or not the interviewer could tell if the entity being interviewed is human or, I guess, synthetic or replicant, as the term may be. But interesting times, and that same particular expert talked about singularity occurring in 2029, which he had predicted a long, long time ago. He's been at it for quite a while. And the other computer science experts have slowly but surely been coming closer and closer to the agreement that 2029 will be the year for this event really taking off and very much changing things. They showed a bunch of graphs as far as like computational flops, which is I'm guessing how many processes a computerized entity can make to compete with the human brain. Human brain's capable of something like 7 million or something. What I will find interesting in the end of it, it circles back to the Neuralink, from what that person who was being interviewed was saying. Like, he's a big pusher and proponent of Neuralink, and from the interview, it seemed like his reason for pushing Neuralink, the thing that they're going to tie into your brain to make it more effective while you're eating bugs, has to do with, instead of computers up to this point taking over our jobs, they've been used in many cases to enhance our processes. So, I don't know. Interesting stuff. Good food for thought. But that's all I got on it so far this morning. Y'all take it easy.